Hey guys, just one tiny piece of housekeeping before we get into the video. I am promoting PKC, as you guys know, but I am also going to be running a giveaway. So for those who sign up and play on PKC, there will be some prizes given away. This is going to last for the duration of October, and basically what you have to do is just sign up, play a certain threshold of hands. Details will be in the description below. But if you hit that threshold of hands, you'll be eligible for all prizes. And just for signing up, you'll be eligible for some prizes. Now, I'm going to tease out some of the prizes, but just so you know, the mid-level prizes will be subscriptions to Crush Life Poker free 2 months. So check that out in the description, get signed up and registered, and start playing on PKC. Now let's get into the video.
We're going to be playing 40-minute levels on day 1. We will switch over to 60-minute levels on days 2 and 3.
Here's the thing. Pocket Jacks is a kind of tough hand to play. And of the 6 hands that I wrote down from this tournament, well, 3 of them were hard to play. You know, obviously, hands can be hard to play, not hard to play. Jacks is just historically listed as a, you know, as kind of a problem hand. So I kind of figured I would tongue-in-cheek name this How to Play Pocket Jacks. I guess that's clickbait, so sue me. This tournament we're going to be talking about was the $1,500 bounty. I don't believe this was the super turbo one. I think this one was like hour-long levels maybe. But actually, you know what, now that I think about it, it might have been the super turbo one. So like 30-minute levels, WSOP event, $1,000 to the prize pool, or actually it's probably more like $850 to the prize pool, $500 bounty. Let's just dive into some of those hands. So 100 level, 24k in the stack, which is I believe right around starting. The hijack opened it up to 300. The cutoff called, the button called, and I was in the small blind with, surprise, surprise, pocket jacks. I made it 1800. Only the hijack calls, so we go heads up to a flop of 977. I see bet 2000, and he makes the call. Turn is a 6 of diamonds. I throw out a bet of 5,000, and he calls once again. At this point, it's certainly possible he has a 7. Most of the time, he's going to have a 9 or a pocket pair. Some draws, potentially, I guess. The river comes a jack, though, so even though I was considering checking, this is a pretty mandatory shove now, I believe. So we go for that jam, which ends up being about 15k effective. He tanks for a couple of minutes, but ultimately just folds, so maybe ultimately not that hard to play. At the next few blind levels up, 200, 300, 300, we see another hand here with 35k in the stack. Cutoff opens 800 off of about a 12k stack. I flat the big blind with Queen Jack of Hearts, and we go heads up to a flop that is Jack high, so even more jacks here. Jack 7-3. I check, he c-bets 900, and I of course call. Hand is just way too strong to do anything but that, I think. Turn is a 5 of spades. I check again, and now bets 2.8k. At this point, you know, our hand is still too strong to fold, but certainly we could very often be beat now. It's not like it's a slam dunk the way it is on the flop, I would say. So the next card is the river, ace of clubs. I check, and he now shoves 7.3k. Now, the interesting thing about this run out is that, you know, some draws did miss, basically, and I have to change out this battery before it dies. All right, well, that was pretty much literally right in front of my face, and I spent at least 5 minutes looking for it, so, you know, we're doing a great job here. Anyway, where were we? So, he shoves, and the interesting thing about the run out is pretty much just that, you know, some draws did miss. I feel his line is generally consistent with either a pretty strong hand or a pretty weak hand. So, you know, it's like when the ace of clubs comes out, he's kind of repping really strong hands or nothing, I think. And so his sizing, the fact that he's willing to shove, to me was more indicative of a bluff than value. Fortunately, we kind of get owned here. I do call it off, and he's actually got kings with a king of clubs. So pretty good hand reading on his part. I still think it's a little bit thin because I don't think a lot of people in that format are necessarily going to find that call that I did. I think a lot of times he just gets the fold. So it might be slightly thin, but I think certainly doing this with specifically that combo is probably good because he does block flushes with with kings. I mean, and when the ace of clubs comes out, it's not like I could have been floating with an ace high flush draw and then just hit top pair. So this could very well be pretty good. I just think a lot of times he's going to struggle to get called by my hand, and he's just lucky enough to run into the guy who's willing to do it, basically. But onto this next hand. We are now at the 300, 500, 500 level, 18k in the stack after that mini debacle there. Under the gun opens at 1300, and I flatten the cutoff with king jack of diamonds. I'd probably just fold if we were off suit, but suited I'm going to get in there in the mix. We go heads up to a flop that is pretty solid for us. It's ace, queen, 10, with 2 diamonds. So we just flop pretty much the uncounterfeitable nuts. I mean, if he had a set, he could, improve to a boat and beat us. But when you've got Broadway with a royal draw, feeling pretty good. Under the gun goes ahead and bets 2.2k. His sizing and just the nature of the board made me feel like he was going to be really strong here most of the time. I didn't really see any reason to wait and possibly scare him off if the if the turn was a third diamond. So I bump it up to 6.2k. He shoves and I snap it all in for my remaining, 16.7k total. He's got ace king and we hold on the 7 of spades and 4 of diamonds. So we improved to a flush, but didn't need it. All we had to do is really fade some chop outs. So healthy once again, back up to 38k. Open surprise. Pocket jacks from under the gun +1, calls, cutoff, and the big blind also call. Flop comes out 10-4-4. I go ahead and bet 1500. I assume my open size was like right around 1200, something like that. So pretty small bet. This is a rainbow board. Don't think we need to go large. We can target a 10. We can target pocket pairs. Occasionally we might get called by like a weird just ace high. Under the gun +1 jams in his total 6.5k, so not a whole lot. And the small blind, confusingly, check overcalls. Well, he check calls, but he's the first call of a bet and a raise. He also covers me, which is a little bit concerning right away. I mean, I think there are some hands that he could play this way that we're ahead of. I don't think he's folding ace 10 here, for example. I don't think he's folding king 10. But, anything lower than that is certainly questionable. And him being in the small blind, one of the last players to act pre-flop, I certainly am a little bit worried about a 4. So it's concerning, but I do decide to make the call. The turn is 8 of diamonds, and the small blind doesn't take that long and just open jams. And I know I said that he covers me, but he didn't look at my stack. So he doesn't know that he covers me. In fact, he doesn't know how much he's betting. So that's super scary. When somebody doesn't seem to care what their size is, and you see this like more in tournaments than in cash games, because I think oftentimes people in cash games like just tend to be a little more stack aware across the board. But in tournaments, it's like they should be more stack aware, but I think it happens more when there's an all-in possibility. So the fact that he doesn't care how much I have, the fact that he's just shoving in without thinking that hard, it just all leads me to believe my hand is no good here. So I do throw it away. He ends up having king 4 of clubs, which of course has us drawing almost dead. Under the gun +1 just has ace king for, just 2 overs getting it in on the flop, which ironically, if he had just gotten it in pre with us, the king 4 clubs probably never gets in there. We just get to stack him, but c'est la vie. River breaks out and we avoid a little bit of a catastrophe there. End up getting moved to a new table, so all new opponents, and playing now at the 500 1k level with 36k in the stack. Ari Engel, total crusher, not something not a guy I really wanted to see at my table, opens it up in middle position to 2k. The hijack calls, and I am on the button with ace queen. I think you could definitely go a couple directions here. 3-betting, I think, would sort of be the standard default, and calling would sort of be just a nice way to disguise the strength of our hand sometimes. But this time I decided to 3-bet, pretty much planning to get it in if need be, because Ari only has about 18 big blinds. He does go ahead and shove that in when it folds back to him, and I pretty happily call it off. I mean, he's only got 17.5 bigs. I'm not exactly, upset about it, but he unfortunately has pocket king, so definitely needs some help here. The board brings some help. Board comes out queen 7-5. No backdoors to speak of for him, but we ourselves also have a backdoor flush draw, so it's looking okay for us. We've got 5 immediate outs, some backdoors. The turn is the jack of spades, though, kills our backdoor possibilities, and the river, king of spades, seals the deal. Ari is going to double up through us, so never fun when a already good player just gets some help from the deck, but can't be too upset about it, and he's going to take that pot in there. This next hand, we're still at the same table and the same level. I am, of course, down, but I've picked up some chips here and there, so I've got 25.4k. I open pocket jacks once again in the under the gun spot to 2k. Middle position, the small blind and the big blind all call, so that's just what you love to see when you have pocket jacks, right? Those good old 4-way pots. And the board comes out again with 2 4s on the flop, 6-4-4. 2 diamonds though, so when small blind checks and the big blind leads for 4k, I don't really want to wait here. I think the big blind could certainly lead with something like a 6, a straight draw, pocket 7s through pocket 10s, a fair amount of flush draws. So I don't think there's any point in waiting here. There shouldn't be a lot of 4x out amongst the other players. And certainly when the big blind leads, I wouldn't expect him to have a 4 all that often, even though he's a player who probably should have it the most often, just by being the last person into the pot. So I happily shove it in, and when it folds around in the big blind, he calls off 10-4 offsuit. So we just, spoiler alert, do not improve. Pretty gross to have, over pairs twice on like a kind of like mid 4-4 board, and then just to have people flop trips both times. We did manage to get away from it that one time, but I think we're a little too short to get away from it here, and just sort of unfortunate lines. I think if he doesn't lead, if he goes for a check raise, I mean, realistically, I probably still don't get away just due to the nature of the board being so draw heavy, but you kind of have to wonder, like, if he doesn't just lead this super weird line, do I just maybe get to get away? And I think that tournaments and poker in general are really fraught with these moments of questioning ourselves. And it's not so much that it's bad to question yourself in poker, because on the contrary, I think that a healthy level of, self-skepticism, if you will, is probably important and helps lead us toward trying to make better decisions and trying to become better players. But at the same time, there has to be a level of confidence in your decisions, and confidence that even though it didn't work out, you still made a good call. So with that out of the way, that's going to do it for this video. Remember, if you want to play online poker for real money, check out PKC down in the description below. Hit me up on Telegram at MattPKC if you want more info, or to join our little chat community. If you like this video though, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, leave me a comment down below letting me know what you thought, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Oh, and share this video with a poker friend who is a real friend. Bye. Oh man, do we really have a set here? Oh, 3 people call. Someone's got to bet, right? Oh, he's all in. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold. Yes. Yes. Oh my god.